Hello, dear listeners. I'm your host, Genevieve Hopkins, and welcome to episode 10 of the Wheel and Cross podcast. The merriment of the Yule season has come to a close for this year. The decorations were packed away on Monday, and the last of the Yule marzipan was eaten. By me, as no one else in my household likes marzipan. After a week of sleet and wind, Monday evening was beautifully still and clear, the full moon rising as dusk deepened into night. A perfect backdrop for our short but sweet wassail of the orchard trees in our backyard. Leftover mulled wine from our Yule party was reheated, poured into my favourite bowl, and offered to each of our 9 fruit trees, along with a hearty wassail. Then a slice of stale bread soaked in the mulled wine was hung at the top of each freshly pruned tree as a toast, or offering, to the birds. Finally, the fir boughs and oak branchlets that deck the halls of my home for the Yule season were burned in the fire pit as we enjoyed the warmth against the cold, crisp night and watched the moon rise. As the month and season of Yule comes to a close, there's one final aspect of European Christmas and Yule traditions to explore. 2 small birds, the robin and the wren, have ancient and important connections with the seasonal winter folklore of Europe. Let's dive into the folktales, traditions, and history of these 2 little birds with big stories. This podcast is free, but if you like my work and would like to support me so that I can continue doing it, please consider a paid subscription. If that is not possible and you enjoy this podcast, I would really appreciate your comments on any of the podcasting platforms you use. Feel free to share this podcast and leave comments on the podcast page. Welcome to episode 10 of the Wheel and Cross podcast, The Robin and the Wren. As always, I would like to acknowledge the custodians of these lands on which I work and live in Australia's capital region, the lands of the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people, and I pay my deep respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and to all First Nations across Australia. The robin and the wren are inextricably linked to the turning of the seasons in Celtic folklore. One widespread Celtic folklore tells of a battle between the new year and the old year. In order for the new year to be born, the robin, symbolising the new year, must kill his father, the wren, who symbolises the old year. The wren's blood splashes on the robin as he dies, giving the robin his red breast. This story reveals a strong connection to the turning seasons and stems from the bird's seasonal behaviours. Whereas the wren is commonly seen and heard during the spring and summer months in Europe, virtually disappearing during winter, the robin is one of the only birds to be seen and heard in wintertime. The relationship between these 2 birds has been memorialised in several English nursery rhymes, depicting Cock Robin as a courting male and Jenny Wren as his feminine conquest. Robin Redbreast Courts Jenny Wren, an English children's nursery rhyme. 'Twas on a merry time, when Jenny Wren was young, so neatly as she danced and so sweetly as she sung, Robin Redbreast lost his heart. He was a gallant bird. He doffed his cap to Jenny Wren, requesting to be heard. My dearest Jenny Wren, if you will but be mine, you shall dine on cherry pie, and drink nice currant wine. I'll dress you like a goldfinch or like a peacock gay. So if you'll have me, Jenny dear, let us appoint the day. Jenny blushed behind her fan, and thus declared her mind. So let it be tomorrow, Rob, I'll take your offer kind. Cherry pie is very good, and so is currant wine. But I will wear my plain brown gown, and never dress too fine. Robin Redbreast got up early, all at the break of day. He flew to Jenny Wren's house, and sang a roundelay. He sang of Robin Redbreast and pretty Jenny Wren, and when he came unto the end, he then began again. The story of Wee Robin Redbreast is a popular Scottish folk tale. This version and its foreword comes from the book Winter Tales, Stories from Around the World, written by Dawn Casey and illustrated by Zana Goldhawk. In many countries, robins are a familiar presence in gardens all year round. In autumn, the robin's song has a subdued, wistful tone, but around Christmas time, his song becomes stronger as the robin seeks a mate. Robins are one of the few birds to sing through the winter. They are known for their curious natures and, if we are mindful in our movements, especially if we are digging in the soil where earthworms live, robins are unafraid of coming close to humans. These qualities, as well as their distinctive orange-red breasts, have made the robin a beloved feathered friend. Once there was a robin, a little round robin with a red breast. It was Christmas morning, and what a glorious morning it was. The dips and hollows were white with frost, and the grass glistened with dew. The beech and the bracken were warm brown in the morning sun, and the earth was breathing out mist. The robin was so full of joy that he couldn't help but sing. He perched on the branch of a briar and sang his cheerful song, and below the tangle of brambles, padding along on velvet paws, came a pearl grey cat. Meow. The cat stretched luxuriously. She arched her back so the robin could see her pretty markings. Little Robin, where are you going so early this morning? I'm away to the castle to sing for the king, said the robin. A worthy journey. But before you go, hop down here. Upon my neck is a ring of beautiful white fur. Come closer and see for yourself. But the robin replied, No, Mistress Cat, for I've seen you worry a mouse, and I've no wish to be worried by you. And away he flew. The robin journeyed from branch to branch, over the gorse and over the heather, until he came to rest upon a bank of grass at the edge of a field. He hopped here and there, pecking in the earth beside the hedgerow. At the other end of the bank was a gled, a hawk, perching on a fence post, tilting its tail to balance in the wind. The hawk shuffled along the fence with its black talons, closer to the robin. The robin hopped further away, for there was a look in the hawk's eye that he did not quite like. The hawk looked over his hooked beak. He arranged his slate-grey feathers so the robin could see the pattern of rich rust bars beneath his wings. Little Robin, where are you going so early this morning? Asked the hawk. I am away to the castle to sing for the king, said the robin. Ah, I wish you good luck on your journey. But before you go, hop over here, and I will show you what a curious feather I have upon my wing. Come closer and see for yourself. But the robin replied, No, Master Hawk, for I've seen you pluck the feathers from a linnet, and I have no wish to have my feathers plucked by you. And away he flew, into a thorny thicket where the hawk could not reach. So the hawk took flight, soaring over the open countryside. When he was gone, the robin flew on. He went swooping over the thistles and sweeping past the sheep until he came to rest upon a flat face of a rock. The north wind ruffled his feathers and he puffed up his plumage. On the wind came a musky stench rising from underneath the rock, and from out of a hole came a pointed nose, long quivering whiskers, and 2 pricked ears. Fox swung her splendid tail from side to side. Little Robin, where are you going so early this morning?" "I'm away to the castle to sing for the king," said the robin. "Ah, a noble quest. But before you go, hop down here. At the tip of my tail is a patch of white. Come closer and see for yourself." But the robin replied, No, Mistress Fox, for I've seen you catch a wee lamb, and I have no wish to be caught by you." And away he flew. He flew and he flew from branch to branch, oak and ash and thorn, until he reached the grey stone castle of the king. There he perched upon the window-sill of the king's bedchamber. But in the ivy underneath the window ledge, someone was already singing. Someone round and brown, with an upright tail. Little Jenny Wren. The robin greeted the wren politely with a nod and a bow. The little wren bobbed a curtsy. Together they sang a winter song. The king and the queen came to the window to listen, and the winter singing made their hearts rejoice. Still today, if you listen carefully, you can hear the midwinter music of Robin Redbreast and little Jenny Wren. The friendly and cheerful robin, Erytharchus rubecula, has been associated with winter for a very long time, as it is one of the only birds to sing during the cold months after the summer breeding season in Europe. Hearing the robin's song on Christmas Day was considered lucky, and there are folk beliefs that a wish made on the first robin's song heard on New Year's Day would come true. Similarly, if you saw a robin on New Year's Day and made a wish before the robin flew away, then your wish would come true. As we saw at the beginning of this episode, the robin was associated with the turn of the year in pre-Christian Celtic traditions, getting its red breast from the blood of its father, who was sacrificed to ensure the sun and the light returned. The story of how the robin got his red breast was later adapted by Christians, so that the blood staining the robin's throat and neck became the blood of Jesus, after the robin removed a thorn from the crown of thorns piercing Jesus' head while he hung crucified. Another Christian legend accounts for the robin's red breast. It is said that when Mary was giving birth to baby Jesus in the stable, she noticed that the fire that they had lit to stay warm and comfortable was in danger of going out. Suddenly, a small brown bird appeared and started flapping its wings in front of the fire, causing it to roar back to life. However, as the bird flew around tending to the fire, a stray ember made its way towards the bird, scorching its breast bright red. Seeing this, Mary declared that the red breast was a sign of the bird's kind heart, which would pass on to its descendants to wear proudly forevermore. From the Scottish Wildlife Trust. It wasn't until the Victorian era in England that the robin became associated with the arrival of Christmas, thanks to the British Royal Mail Service. The first uniform issued by the Royal Mail was for the Mail Coach Guards in 1784. It consisted of scarlet coattails with gold braids, blue lapels, and a black beaver hat with a gold band. The mailmen were nicknamed Robins or Redbreasts on account of their scarlet coats, and, as the tradition of sending Christmas cards grew in popularity, the image of the robin delivering Christmas mail also became popular. Although many traditions on the British Isles attribute robins with good luck, it was considered very unlucky to harm a robin or steal its eggs. The blood on the breast of a robin that's caught brings death to the snarer by whom it is caught. An English folk rhyme. In some parts of England, it was believed that if you killed a robin, the hand that did the deed would shake forevermore, develop ugly red wheals of boils if you're in Ireland, or even drop off if you lived in Shropshire. In other places in England, it was believed that however you slay the robin, so you too shall be slayed. Robins were also at times considered unlucky omens, so if one flew into your house or tapped at the window, it was believed to portend a funeral in the near future. In Devon, it was thought that if a robin landed on the roof and utters its plaintive sweet, any baby inside that house would die. The robin was also connected to death through the popular English nursery rhyme, "Who Killed Cock Robin?" "Who killed Cock Robin? I," said the sparrow, "with my bow and arrow, I killed Cock Robin." "Who saw him die?" "I," said the fly, "with my teeny little eye, I saw him die." "Who caught his blood?" "I," said the fish, "with my little dish, I caught his blood." "Who'll make the shroud?" "I," said the beetle, "with my thread and needle, I'll make the shroud." "Who'll dig his grave?" "I," said the owl, "with my pick and trowel, I'll dig his grave." "Who'll be the parson?" "I," said the rook, "with my little book, I'll be the parson." "Who'll be the clerk?" "I," said the lark, "if it's not in the dark, I'll be the clerk." "Who'll carry the link?" "I," said the linnet, "I'll fetch it in a minute, I'll carry the link." "Who'll be chief mourner?" "I," said the dove, "I mourn for my love, I'll be chief mourner." "Who'll carry the coffin?" "I," said the kite, "if it's not through the night, I'll carry the coffin." "Who'll bear the pall?" "We," said the wren, "both the cock and the hen, we'll bear the pall." "Who'll sing a psalm?" "I," said the thrush, as she sat on a bush, "I'll sing a psalm." "Who'll toll the bell?" "I," said the bull, "because I can pull, I'll toll the bell." All the birds of the air fell a sighing and a sobbing when they heard the bell toll for poor Cock Robin. Sometimes robins have a more positive association with death, as they are believed to be messengers between this world and the afterlife, reflected in the phrase, "When robins appear, loved ones are near." Robins were also frequently connected with inclement weather. In some parts of Ireland, folklore has it that if a robin entered your house, it meant the start of snowy or frosty weather, while in British folklore, hearing a robin nearby meant that storms were on their way. In Nordic countries, the robin was considered a storm cloud bird, sacred to Thor, the Norse god of thunder, and was said to offer protection from the storms and lightning. "The north wind doth blow, and we shall have snow, and what will poor Robin do then, poor thing? He'll sit in a barn, and keep himself warm, and hide his head under his wing, poor thing." First verse of the poem "The North Wind" by an anonymous poet, 1805. In Eastern Europe, the robin is considered a harbinger of spring rather than Christmas. Robins in these regions migrated south and west to escape the cold, harsh winters. Its return to Eastern Europe in early spring is seen as a sign that the harsh winter is coming to an end and the earth is beginning to awaken from its slumber. Interestingly, the European and North American robins actually have orange breasts, as there was no word for the colour orange in Europe before the 15th century. the orange colour was simply called red or yellow red until oranges, the fruit, began to be imported into Europe in the 15th century, and the word orange quickly evolved to mean the colour orange. Australia has 49 species of robin, although they are from the family of Petroica and not related to the European Erytharchus. Many have spectacularly colourful breasts, ranging from black and white to bright pink, rose and yellow. 3 of Australia's robin species have a red breast: the flame robin, red-capped robin and scarlet robin. The scarlet robin is most commonly seen in Australia's capital region where I live. They are relatively tolerant of suburban environments and are more commonly found in winter as they migrate to cooler climates in summer. They are a lovely symbol for winter and the Yule season in Australia. The wren, Troglodytes troglodytes, is a tiny brown insectivorous bird that roosts and hunts in thick hedges and in caves, thus accounting for its Latin name, Troglodytes, meaning cave hunter. It has a fine bill, delicate and long legs and toes, a short neck, a round body with small wings, and a short, narrow and jaunty tail that is often cocked up vertically. Although small, it has a loud, clear and complex singing voice, 10 times louder for its weight than a rooster, and is commonly heard singing its melodious songs throughout Europe. During winter, particularly during prolonged or severe cold, wren numbers and vocalisations decline. In the UK and most of the European continent, wrens are resident breeders, meaning that they stay in one place and do not migrate, while those from northern and eastern Europe migrate south in the winter, returning to their northerly lands to breed in the spring. The wren features in folklore across Europe, where it is known as the king of the birds, attributed to one of Aesop's fables, the wren and the eagle. One day, long ago, all the birds held a competition to see who among them could fly the highest and thus be crowned king. The small birds soon tired, then the ducks, crows, magpies, and all the others except for the eagle, who was certain he would easily win. Just as the eagle began to tire and could ascend no more, the wren, who had hidden in the eagle's feathers, launched himself off the eagle and flew even higher. Thus, the clever little wren won the competition and proclaimed himself king. A traditional folktale from the British Isles expands this story. Although the smaller birds were happy with the outcome, the larger birds complained that the wren had won through trickery and cunning. "Why is winning by strength and brawn better than winning by cunning?" responded the wren. "If you are doubtful of my victory, then name another challenge." The bigger birds discussed this amongst themselves and decided on another competition. The bird that could swoop the lowest would be crowned king. The large birds dived down and glided just above the ground, with the eagle diving the lowest, until the wren's turn, when he climbed into a small mouse hole and exclaimed he was the lowest and the king. The large birds of prey were furious, and to this day they hunt the king of the birds, so he stays hidden in hedges, bushes and caves, while all the other birds visit the clever and cunning Wren King for advice. The wren's cunning and position as king of the birds also features in a fairy tale collected by the brothers Grimm, The Willow Wren and the Bear. The wren was called Basilius, or king, and Basiliskos, little king, by famous ancient Greek philosophers Aristotle, Pliny and Plutarch. Celtic Druids also called the wren king of all the birds and considered it to be sacred, associated with Tyrannus, the Celtic god of thunder, which protected the wren from and associated it with lightning. According to an old Celtic superstition, those who take a wren's egg or nestling will have their house struck by lightning, as would anyone who interfered with a druid or druid's business. The druids used the wren's musical songs in divination, and a wren's feather was believed to be a charm against disaster or drowning. An ancient tradition, once spread across the British Isles, features a special day dedicated to the wren, called Wren's Day. In Ireland and England, Wren's Day falls on December 26, also known as Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day. In Wales, the day is called the Hunting of the Wren and occurs on January 6. Killing or harming a wren was believed to bring bad luck, except on Wren's Day. Groups of boys and unmarried young men called wren boys would hunt and kill wrens, usually by stoning, then tie the wrens to a holly or some other evergreen bush. The wren boys would then parade these bushes or poles decked with dead wrens around the town, knocking on people's doors and asking the householders to pay for the wren's funeral. Those who refused would have a bird buried outside their house, bringing bad fortune in the year ahead. Those who gifted money were rewarded with a wren's feather and good luck. There are many versions of the wren song that were and still are sung at the door of people's houses. Here is one version. The wren, the king of all birds, St. Stephen's Day was caught in the furs. Although he is little, his family is great. I pray you, good landlady, give us a treat. In another version, the ran, the king of all birds, St. Stephen's Day was caught in the furs. Up with the kettle and down with the pan, give us a penny to bury the ran. And another version. The wren, the king of all birds, St. Stephen's Day was caught in the furs. Her clothes were all torn, her shoes were all worn. Up with the kettle and down with the pan, give us a penny to bury the ran. If you haven't a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't a halfpenny, God bless you. Once the wren boys collected enough money, they would head to the local pub to drink, sing and dance, with the decorated pole or bush in pride of place. These days, no birds are killed, but rather a stuffed or artificial wren is tied to the holly pole or bush, or carried around in a cage decorated with ribbons. There are several theories about the origins of the wren celebration. It's likely that the traditions of Wren Day predate Christianity, which means that the hunting and killing of the wren is likely connected to an ancient sacrificial ritual to bring in the new year. On the Isle of Man, the hunting of the wren, called Shelgindrin, was associated with the queen of the fairies, who was called Tehitegi. Tehitegi was so beautiful that all the men of the island neglected their homes and fields to court her. She soon grew tired of their incessant and relentless pursuit of her, and like a Pied Piper for enamoured men, she led them to a river or the sea and drowned them all. When she was confronted by the remaining islanders, she turned into a wren and escaped. As punishment, she was made to remain in the form of the wren to be hunted and killed every year on December 26. It is also possible that Christians, understanding the importance of the wren to the Druidic Celts, used the killing of the wren as a symbolic murder of the reviled pagans and their beliefs. The wren's connection to Saint Stephen springs from a Christian legend of Saint Stephen hiding from the Jews, when the wren alerted them to his whereabouts, leading to his capture and death by stoning. The wren is also connected to treachery and betrayal in Irish and British folklore. Wrens were infamous for alerting and waking sleeping armies, be they Vikings or later Cromwell's soldiers, as local forces were about to spring their ambush. Although the wren is a small and plain-looking bird, its humble appearance belies its power, cunning, and influence. It is truly the king of the birds and a potent symbol of the winter season. Though not related to the European wren, Australia has its own species of beautifully coloured wrens called fairy wrens. The superb fairy wren, with its shimmering blue and black mask and jaunty tail, is a common visitor in my garden. The flashy male and his dowdy but cheerful harem never fail to make me smile whenever they visit, always singing happily. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the history and folklore surrounding the two most iconic birds of the European winter season, the robin and the wren. Next week, we celebrate Imbolc, the quickening, and the first stirrings of spring. We'll learn about the history and traditions of Imbolc and of Bridget's Day. We'll also explore the local Ngunnawal season of Jambardi and what seasonal changes can be observed in this part of the world. See you next week for Episode 11, The First Signs of Spring, Imbolc, Bridget's Day, and Jambardi.